mobile data.
Is it on or what?
I think we're live.
Hey, this is Brandon Wright, Right Stuff Radio Show. We're hoping that this is live. This is the first time I've had to set up the Mevo myself, and Jody's here helping me. But we're going to be talking about struggles. What struggles does a business owner have in 2017? And Jody brought it up because we just finished recording our show for this Saturday at noon, that social media is one of the biggest struggles for a business in itself. And really that comes down to a business owner understanding how to use social media. So what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think one of, it really is, when you look at the different business owners that I've talked to, they're like, what do I even put out there? Which platform do I use? Because you have Facebook, you have Google Plus, you have Instagram, you have Snapchat, and I think one, they're trying to wrap their brain around the concept of social media, and number two, what do they really share to make it engaging? And I think that's where they're struggling. It's like, because a lot of people are making the mistake of just trying to pitch their stuff, when social media really is, how do I tell a story about what my business is doing to impact other people? And people like the story. And so as I've tried to wrap my brain about how we're going to use social media, I mean, when you look at a software company, what can I tell that's going to be interesting to Joe Schmo out looking for software? He's like, oh, what is it, a bunch of geeks in a dark corner, hacking code? What is the story? And so as I've thought about that, I'm like, how do we make that story relatable? And so I've really tried to, in our social media efforts, is to show, one, the process of what it takes, customer engagement, taking an idea from this just, in its infancy to a completed project and a product on the market. And I think, if I look at, other industries, if I'm in disaster recovery, what kind of stories can I tell that are engaging, that will be memorable? And I think that's what's important and what people are struggling with.
I think as a disaster guy, right? I mean, we're going out to disasters. I mean, what's the one thing that I hear all the time is I wish this would have never happened. I wish I would have never met you. It wasn't anything personally. But so I look at, as a restoration contractor, and I think this could go for most service-based companies, is how can you work on preventative maintenance, right? How is it that you can help them with their home? And maybe it's the understanding. It's like you and I setting up this Mevo camera, right? I mean, it took us about a half hour. We had to figure out how to do it. We had to call our buddy Dale, say, Dale, help us out here. People don't know a lot of things, and sometimes they want to know that. So as a professional, how do we help them get to know that? And I think that's content you can shove out on social media. People are going to either like it applies to them, or it doesn't. And I think that's the other thing, right? Social media, just because you're putting something out there, it's not necessarily how many likes or how many views that you get. It's going to be a lot of, are you getting the right people?
Well, and I think that even, I think a lot of times we make the mistake of just throwing content out. The key is the content has to be relevant. I mean, it's easy to be visible, right, and just throw stuff out, but you need to give information that is relevant to the customer and that it's timely so that they can act on it. And when I look at disaster recovery, I mean, what better time than to create a video of, hey, I'm on site, this is what we encountered, and you know what, we're going to take 5 minutes, and this is what we could have done to prevent that. I mean, that is huge. I mean, if I had a resource,
say, I wish I would have known.
I wish I would have known, right? I mean, that's a perfect example of, that could be a social media segment that you feature once a week. Oh, I wish I would have known. And then you come in, you tell this horrible story, there's flood up to your knees, there's, feces up, floating around, and you're dealing with the worst case scenario. And you could have just said, you know what, if you would have had this in place and this in place, you would have at least been able to avoid some of this trauma. So,
well, I think that's a great topic. Jody Cedric of Zenware, they just won the 5th year in a row, best place to work in Idaho. And that's our topic was the struggles of a business owner. So catch our show noon on this Saturday, KIDO 580. Listen in. If you miss it, it'll be up on the website, rightstuffradio.com next week. Thanks for chiming in.
Be here.